Learning objectives. After completing this module, learners will be able to learn about Gautam Buddha and his life, understand the basic principles of Buddhist religion and the teaching of Lord Buddha to his followers, understand the importance of the scriptures of Upanishad, its relevance in modern time, learn about Vardhamana Mahavira and Jainism, learn how Mahavira emphasized on the character building in his teaching, understand the composition of Sangha created by the Buddhist followers and their activities, learn about 4 ashramas in one's life as per Hindu concept. Lord Buddha and Buddhism. Childhood. In the year of 624 BC, in Kapilavatthu of today's Nepal, Siddhartha Gautama was born as a prince. His father was King Suddhodana of Shakyagana. When Siddhartha was 29 years old, he decided to renounce lay life. Siddhartha left from his kingdom and went to several well-known teachers to study the ultimate nature of reality. But their teachings didn't satisfy him, and he set out to find his own path. 6 years later, he went to Bodh Gaya and sat under a peepal tree, attaining enlightenment. Sitting under that tree, Siddhartha finally saw the answer to the questions of suffering that he had been seeking for so many years. In that moment of pure enlightenment, Siddhartha Gautama became the Buddha, that means he who is awake. He delivered his first discourse at Sarnath to his disciples. Lessons and teachings. Lord Buddha preached his discourses in Pali and Prakrit, the dialects derived from Sanskrit, so that ordinary people could understand his lessons. He stressed that the carving of human mind and its endless desire are the sole reasons for their sufferings. The basic teachings of Buddha are 3 universal truths, 4 noble truths, and the 8-fold noble paths. Lord Buddha died at the age of 80 years in a forest near Kushinagara, in the company of his followers. He spoke his last words as, "Work diligently on your salvation." Thus he passed into the state of nirvana. Upanishad. Upanishad and its origin. In the quest to know the journey after death, the aspiration of human knowledge strived hard. As we can see, the teaching of Buddha, where culmination of spirituality was set upon the standard of individual integrity, Hindu thinkers took this point toward another dimension. They described the Atman, or the individual soul, would meet the universal soul, that is Brahman, after the mortal death. With its literal meaning, approaching and sitting near, Upanishad had placed a permanent place in our thought process from its origination till today. The knowledge of enlightenment. Upanishad was composed after Vedic period. Thus it got the name Vedanta, which means the end or culmination of Veda and its intrinsic concepts. This is mostly written in the form of dialogues in between teachers and students. Many difficult questions about spiritualism and cosmic power were dealt here with simple way of conversations which were very familiar to the ordinary people. The narrators of the Upanishad. In Chandogya Upanishad, we can get many times of Brahmins and Rajans who dealt in the discourses about the scripture. The woman thinker like Gargi, Lopamudra were in the same standard with Rishi Yajnavalkya. Another one, the Satyakama Jabala, who was famous for his wisdom despite he was not a Brahmin. Eventually, the Hindu thinker Shankaracharya had made many modifications in the scriptures and the ideas later. Jainism, Vardhamana Mahavira and Jainism. Mahavira was born in 599 BCE into a royal family of Kshatriyas named Licchavis in Bihar. Hailing from a royal family, he had all the luxuries of life at his disposal. The traditional religious practices of that time were based on rites and rituals. But Mahavira found no peace of mind through these mindless rituals, as they could not offer him the answers to the questions he sought. Teaching of Mahavira. During his meditation to achieve attainment, Mahavira allowed insects to crawl all over his body and did not harm them even when they bit him. He endured all the physical hardships of his ascetic life peacefully. Thus, after 12.5 years of rigorous meditation, he finally attained Keval Jnana, meaning absolute knowledge or supreme knowledge. The name Jainas came from the word Jina, which means to conquer. Jainas' beliefs and the religion. It is believed that Mahavira was 24th Tirthankara of the Jainas, and he was the last messenger in this religion. The medium of preaching the language was Magadhi Prakrit, which was mainly spoken in Magadha. Over 100 years, in Gujarat, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, this religion was flourished. Despite its strict rule and customs, which professed the celibacy and even giving up the clothes, many people were attracted due to the simplicity and integrity of this religion. The Jaina scripture was written in Agamas. Sangha and monasteries. Buddhist Sanghas. Sangha is a Pali word and it means in Sanskrit assembly. But most commonly, it refers in Buddhism to the monastic community of bhikkhus or monks and bhikkhunis or nuns. In order to move in Sangha, everyone should take the permission, like the debtors from the creditors, and so on. As it was written in Vinaya Pitaka, one of the holy scripture of Buddhist religion, in Sanghas, everybody would have to live a simple life and earn their livelihood through begging only. Many of them wrote about the teaching of Buddha during their stay in Sangha. Buddhist monasteries. Buddhist monks generally went places throughout the year to preach the teachings of those great men. During fall every year, they could not continue their voyage, and so, in some natural caves of the mountains, in some open garden, or elsewhere, the monasteries or viharas were constructed for their temporary stay by their disciples. Gradually, these temporary shelters became the permanent settlements as well. In Ladakh and Tibet, we can see many Buddhist monasteries. Ashramas in Hinduism. In Hinduism, The concept of 4 ashramas was developed by the same time. They were Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. In brief, these are the phases of the life of every human, like the student life, family life, old age, and the phase of taking sannyas respectively. From Brahmacharya itself, the process of primary monkhood is cultivated in one's mind. Summary. Let us summarize what we have learnt. In quest of the ways to freedom from all suffering in life, Lord Buddha left all of his worldly treasures and wealth. The Buddhist religion was spread in Pali and Prakrit languages so that every ordinary human could understand the teachings. Upanishad tried to find some immortal connection between the individual soul and universal soul. According to Jain religion, Lord Mahavira was last and 24th Tirthankara of Jainas. Like Lord Buddha, Lord Mahavira too wanted to find out the reasons of all miseries and sufferings of human life. In Sangha and monasteries, Buddhist and Jain followers learnt the ways to live a simple and spiritual life. The 4 ashrams